precious little youth, yeah. I wrote this one just for.
How's that? Testing. 340-715-7948. Remember, you gotta call in and you gotta rep your school, kiddies. This one's for you. Just for you, like Brian said.
Temptation. What a joy to see you overcome so strong. Know that you're an inspiration. This is just the beginning, and if you're not winning, still keep going, no giving up.
Okay, good. All right, you can hear me now.
Singing melodies straight to the top.
Just for you. For those of you just tuning in, we're giving away a free pizza this morning, and this is the song you gotta be waiting to listen. This is the song right here. And you gotta call in 340-715-7948. That's the number for the kiddies to call. You gotta call in and rep your school for me. Good morning. I see you guys.
Never let them tell you what you can't do. Follow your heart for what you want. Cause you never know until you take a chance. Don't ever give up, that's just
How's that? Y'all can hear me now, right? Somebody said better.
The least of us. Nothing what we did, they never please of us. Before us have a day, I said a prayer for us.
Okay.
Every single one I got a special little you, yeah. I wrote this one just for you. Cause I've been through all the things you're going through. I wrote this song just for you.
How's that?
Every single one I got a precious little you.
All right, okay, good. All right, let me know how that sounds now.
Been through all the things you're going through.
Pull up. This is the last time, ladies and gentlemen. And don't worry, we got out every day this week. We're going to be doing giveaways. So please be sure to tune in. Tell a friend to tell a friend.
You can have anything in the world that you want. You just got to go and get it.
Where my kids at?
I see the light in you.
Hey.
No wanna make it shine true. Make your wildest dreams come true. Let nobody stop you. Got so much potential.
This is Just For You by Priya, Sizzla, Queen Omega, and While She Fire. I really wanted something that was going to be on the positive side for the kids, you know? This one is just for y'all. Heading into school. Brand new laces, brand new kicks, fresh braid up. I got to see them edges laid.
This one just for you, 'cause I've been through all the things.
Good morning. I see you, Lily. Good morning, Queen Tilda. Good morning, Elle. Good morning. 340-715-7948. This is the number to call. All right, we're doing giveaways every day this week. I know today a little rough around the edges for everybody. It's a lot to take in. It's a lot to do. Rushing to get those kids into school on time. All that good stuff. We don't do it today. We're gonna double up tomorrow.
Just for you, every single one I got a special little you. Yeah, I wrote this one just for you, 'cause I've been through all the things you're going through. I wrote this song just
Oh yes, and then we about to get into the birthday portion of the morning as well.
for you, 'cause I've been through all the things you're going through.
Rise up from the mud and the slum, dance to the beat of the sweet, get the drums, celebrate the trials and triumphs. Look how far you come from.
Gotta say a huge shout out, good morning to all the faculty, the staff,
Temptation, what a joy.
the hall monitors, security, admin,
If you're not winning, still keep going.
the paras,
Make a better living with the vibes.
cafeteria workers. Good morning.
Every single one I got a special little you. Yeah.
Wishing everyone a very positive and bright, successful school year.
Song just for you. Every single one I got a
According to the Department of Education, all right, they're saying that as of last year, we had 0 expulsions territory-wide. That means both St. John, St. Thomas District, as well as the St. Croix District, 0 expulsions in the public school era. Lord.
Never let them tell you what you can't do. Follow your heart for what you want.
So listen, that means the school children are behaving. Who it is ain't behaving then? Mommy, daddy, is it you?
When they speak of us, they only expect the least of us. Nothing
Hey.
Before us have a day, I said a prayer.
So that's right. So listen, we're going to just double up tomorrow, right? What we're gonna do right now is head into the birthday hour really quick, and then we're gonna cut to a brief commercial break. Cut to a break, come right back, jump on into our VI historical figure of the day, as well as the news and all things in store. You know, it's Bush T in the morning on 101.3 Roe FM. That's 101.3 Roe FM, that is. Don't get it mistaken. It's definitely 1 of 1 for sure. All right, so tell a friend to tell a friend. Every day this week, we're going to be giving away a free 6-inch personal pan pizza courtesy of Alfio's Pizza for the kids. But the kids are the ones that got to play, okay? They got to call in, they got to rep their school, they got to shout out. And then based on what the rules for that day is, which is why you got to make sure you're listening in, right? Based on what the rules are for that day, you get to call in. Either you have to say a quote or you have to answer a small question, something you should know, all right? And that's how you can win, absolutely. But as of right now, you know what time it is.
Big birthday, bash. If I ever on the ground, splash. Give thanks for when I oh gosh. Watch it, them make a dip in the stash.
Big Leo season vibes.
Turn up the sound box.
Oh yes, it is August 10th, Monday, August 10th, that is. 10 days already into the month of August. 2026 ain't even playing. But I gotta say a huge shout out, happy birthday to everybody that made birthday over the course of the weekend as well as today. When you see them, make sure to shout them out, love them up. All right, show them some love. Remind them why they the real MVP. Life is worth celebrating, man. I know some people might feel, oh, that's Jaya's thing, you know, cheering them, you know, celebrate body after a certain age. We celebrate it all, okay? Because nothing should be taken for granted. Tomorrow isn't promised, and you don't know when you're gonna get next one. Celebrate that, cut that cake, yes, pop them bottles, let's go. Happy birthday, Shani Walters. I see you, my love. Happy birthday. All right, gotta say Rashawn Buck, happy birthday. Oh yes, George Armstrong Jr. I see you, George. Happy birthday. Jackie Thomas Eastman, happy birthday. Lamar Reggie Miller, Precious Laurent. We got Adela Bologna. Antoinette Boynes. All right, yesterday, now we're gonna go back into the belated birthdays. Devon Dorr. We also got to say happy birthday to Stephen Martinez, Janine Ramsey, Jennifer Dinsey, Javon Ford, and Grass Mahoney. What you saying, darling? Happy birthday. Absolutely. Also, we had Kevin De La Cruz and Carice Pedro, Dominic Torito, and Andrew Campbell over the weekend, Ramal Morgan, and Crujan Jewel. Happy birthday to you guys. Hope you cut the cake and celebrate. James Henry, Janelia James Pittman. Happy belated birthday, baby. I see you. Much love always.
You're listening to Everything Virgin Islands. 101.3 Roe FM. WEVI.
All right, guys. So we're going to cut to a brief commercial break, and we're going to be right back. It's 101.3 Roe FM, WEVI, and your hostess with the most. It's Neeks from Bush T in the morning. Keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. Don't touch that dial.
From St. Croix to every home, building dreams where hope has grown, for our youth and families too. Our brighter future starts with you. For Gage Edmonds, let's rise today, leading our islands the better way, building together, strong and free, for a brighter Virgin Islands community. For Gage Edmonds,
for by friends of Gage Edmonds for Senate.
Mornings. Look at that melted butter, the toasted muffin, that juicy sausage, and fresh McCafe. With mornings this good, mornings are for McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Catch the fiber fever. 1 gig for $50 a month for a limited time. What are you waiting for? Switch to Liberty True Fiber now. Visit libertyvi.com/fiber.
Fly the Whale from St. Thomas to Puerto Rico, starting August 3rd. Fly the Whale announces a new round-trip flight between St. Thomas's Cyril E. King Airport and Puerto Rico's Isla Grande Airport. Convenient flight times will get residents and visitors to San Juan for business, medical, and leisure travel. Connecting to the mainland, it's just a short drive from the Isla Grande Airport to the main airport terminal. Fly the Whale, still flying from St. Croix to Puerto Rico, but now also flying from St. Thomas to Puerto Rico. Welcome aboard. Book your next trip at flythewhale.com or call us at 800-908-0469.
Are you tired of the same old auto insurance? Well, guess what?
You got options. Keswick Insurance, we are the top one. Baby, it's easy, no problem. To get a free quote online now. You got options. Keswick Insurance, we are the top one.
Keswick has auto insurance for Virgin Islands living. Give us a call at 340-714-8100 or visit keswickinsurance.com.
To get a free quote online now.
James Family Florist, your premier destination for exquisite floral creations in La Grande Princess. At James Family Florist, we believe in the power of flowers to brighten any occasion. Whether you're celebrating a special milestone, expressing love and appreciation, or simply brightening someone's day, our expert team is here to help you find the perfect arrangement. With a wide selection of fresh, high-quality blossoms and a passion for creativity, we can bring your floral vision to life. From elegant roses to cheerful sunflowers, we have something for every taste and budget. James Family Florist, where every blossom tells a story. Contact us today at 340-718-8663 and let us help you create moments that last a lifetime.
Your teen may not always say, "I'm struggling," but withdrawing from family and friends, changes in sleep or appetite, losing interest in things they used to love, they need to know that you're paying attention, that you care, that they are never a bother. Have you checked in with your teen today? A few minutes of your time each day can make all the difference. Get conversation starters and mental health resources at doh.vi.gov/Gen Z.
From the VR Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Scott Kaplan. Heat advisory in effect today from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Hazy sunshine, another plume of Saharan dust moving through, breezy and hot. We'll get up into the lower 90s this afternoon. Offshore, east winds 15 to 20 knots, gusts to 30 knots, diminishing in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 6 feet, visibility 1 to 3 miles in haze. Partly cloudy, hazy this evening, then a few showers and thunderstorms overnight, breezy, low near 80. Partly to mostly sunny, hazy again Tuesday, an afternoon shower, thunderstorm, breezy, high near 90. A shower, thunderstorm Tuesday evening, then partly cloudy, hazy, breezy, low near 80. Some morning showers, then partly sunny, breezy, hazy again Wednesday, high in the lower 90s. Hazy, sunshine, windy both Thursday and Friday, highs both days 90 to 95. From the VI Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Scott Kaplan.
This is VI Star Boy Bugsy Bugs Busy Bee, and it's all about the Bush Tea in the morning show. I get my Bush Tea power on there. Hey DJ Hey Neka Neekes, how we go? 101.3 Roe FM.
Cause it's bigger than plum, pretty man, yes.
And we're back. Hey. Ring. Ring. Let the phone ring. Good morning. It's me. Yes, yes. 101.3 calling me. That's right, a little PUMPA to get your blood pumping. So I hope everybody is enjoying their morning so far. It's Monday, so you know how Mondays can be sometimes, right? But we have been so prepared. We have been preparing for so long for this particular Monday. I know it just has to be going right. Now, mind you, everyone please be careful, be cautious on the roads, because there's a lot more activities in the mornings when school is going on, of course. So just please be courteous to each other and be safe. That being said, I hope everybody had a nice hot cup of bush tea this morning, got your day started right. Make sure you clean out them children. It's not just about what's on the outside, it's about what's on the inside that counts as well too. Make sure they get their vitamins and their omega-3s and all their fatty acids and all that good stuff, because that is going to help their brain to function that much better in the classroom. All right, focus is really a thing that children struggle with these days, especially because they're constantly, and from very young ages, they're constantly behind screens. Okay, no other generation has ever grown up under these conditions, so we have to be mindful of giving them the tools they need necessary to be successful. All right, so sometimes that means, you know, hitting up some of them old school remedies and thing. You know, you can't do wrong with a good, nice hot cup of bush tea in the morning, right? So today's tea of the day is none other than peppermint leaf tea. Why peppermint leaf tea? Let me tell you, I got you. I'm going to put you on. All right, so peppermint leaf tea is actually one of those real go-tos, okay, for stomach digestion as well as for just calming the body. Okay, peppermint leaf tea is one of my go-tos, one of my faves. Is usually lemongrass, ginger, or peppermint if I have to just grab and go. Okay, and reason being is, one, I personally feel you just can't have too much, right? And regardless of what you're feeling, it's going to level you off. So let's get into it, and I'll tell you exactly how to make it as well too. It's made by steeping the leaves of the peppermint plant in hot water. Mind you, it don't say nothing about boiling the plant. I'm going to keep repeating that because some people actually believe you're supposed to put the tea leaves in the pot while water rolling, or while it's in the on position in the first place. There should be no fire or heat under the pot when you put them leaves in. It should be off. It should be hot and finished boiling, already done rolling, and you turn it off, and that's when you put in the leaves, even if you gotta let it cool a little bit, and then you let that seep. I like to use a ceramic plate. That's my old school way, or you can use a pot lid cover depending on what it is. I prefer glass. But yes, steep your leaves. Steep them, okay? Don't forget them in there. Let the tea turn cold now, but steep them. All right? Now, peppermint contains menthol. The compound responsible for its cooling aroma and flavor is traditionally being used for digestion, gas, bloating, nausea, and stomach discomfort. Research on peppermint is strongest for concentrated peppermint oil, particularly for symptoms of irritable bowel syndrome, rather than ordinary peppermint tea. So we should be careful not to treat the tea as a cure, as always, right? A warm cup may nevertheless be soothing after a meal, and because pure peppermint tea is naturally caffeine free, many people also enjoy it in the evening. Peppermint's menthol aroma can create a cooling sensation in the nose and throat, which is one reason people often reach for peppermint tea during a cold. The warm liquid can help with dehydration and soothe a dry throat. But peppermint tea does not cure influenza, COVID-19, sinus infections, or respiratory illnesses. unquote, right? Peppermint is also sometimes used for headaches, menstrual discomfort, and relaxation, although evidence for the tea itself remains limited. To prepare, just steep the fresh or dried peppermint leaves in hot water for roughly 5 to 10 minutes. Ginger, lemon, or little honey, and can always add to make it your desired taste. All right, peppermint can aggravate acid reflux or heartburn, so please beware. Okay. And it does that because it does relax the muscles separating the stomach from the esophagus. So just be cautious there, okay? Anyone with severe reflux, gallbladder problems, significant digestive disease, or regular medication use should ask a healthcare professional before consuming highly concentrated teas of any kind. All right? Essential peppermint oil is far more concentrated than tea and should not be treated as interchangeable with a cup of peppermint leaves. Remember, once you change the mode of delivery, you're probably changing the potency as well. So bear that in mind, okay? That being said, today we're pouring up peppermint leaf tea. Cool, refreshing, and one of the most recognizable herbs in the garden. Enjoy it for the experience and the tradition. But remember, bush tea can complement good health habits. It does not replace proper medical care. All right? And that's your tea time for today. Oh, yeah. So what we drinking, what we sipping on, and to my coffee lovers, cheers to you as well. All right. So we don't discriminate on breakfast beverages. We just got to make sure that you know that when it comes to health and wellness, bush tea is king. All right. Now, moving forward, we still are covering our VI historical figures of the day. And every morning I have been covering, or I've had the honor of covering, one Virgin Islands historic figure whose name is bestowed on one of our schools, all right, our institutions, our learning institutions, I should say. So there we go. Today we are honoring none other than Ivana Idora Ken, okay, one of the great educators of the Virgin Islands. Ken devoted an extraordinary 52 years to education in the territory, spending much of her life helping to shape generations of Virgin Islands children. Her career developed during an era when local teachers frequently carried responsibilities far beyond the classroom, as many of them have. All right. Ken's legacy became permanently connected to public education on St. Thomas. The school we now know as Ivana Idora Ken High School originally opened in 1971 as Nazareth Bay Secondary School. After Bertha C. Bushelta Junior High School was constructed, the Nazareth Bay campus became a senior high school, and in 1975, Act number 3656 officially renamed the institution Ivana Idora Ken High School in recognition of Ken's 5 decades of service to the Virgin Islands. That honor carries special significance. Generations of Virgin Islanders has walked into a campus bearing the name of a local woman whose contribution was not based on celebrity or political power, but on educating children. The school continues serving students in grades 9 through 12 on the eastern end of St. Thomas, carrying the motto, "Strive for Success." Ivana Idora Ken died on February 27th of 1979, but her name remains alive every time a student says, "I go to Ken." Every time a Devil Ray walks across a graduation stage, and every time another young Virgin Islander begins a new school year on that campus. Her story reminds us that teachers can leave monuments without ever building them. Their monuments are in the hearts of the people that they educated. So shout out, and much respect and regard to none other than Ivana Idora Ken, educator and waymaker right here in these Virgin Islands. I love it. So shout out to everybody that's, walking through those halls, and all these halls where our educators have their names grace these institutions. So I urge each of you to know a little bit of background history of the individuals whose name is on your school or on any of the schools that you've attended. And I know this morning will be a little bittersweet. I saw some posts already where we're speaking about some of this redistricting that's taking place. But parents, I urge you, sometimes, we may have our qualms with how things are done in these Virgin Islands, but I do urge parents to have a positive outlook and mindset. Please utilize the outlets. The Department of Education has sent out a survey asking parents to please complete the survey. There's a great way for you to really highlight any of the issues that may be overlooked, things that may have not been considered when it comes to either your situation or your children's situation. and not look at everything like you individually are being targeted, or it's just an overall discourse in the issue in the program. Understand that there was a problem that needed to be addressed urgently, and a lot of that was parents were having hard times getting their children to schools, especially when their children are going to schools that are much further away than where they live, and they could just easily go to a school that's right there. So in order to help some, we all have to look at self, right? And that's what a part of being this community is all about. It's not about just what works for me. It's about being able to look around and say, hey, we had this issue, how can we cater to this issue as a territory, and how can I do my part? Let's see where we can, bend and move just a little bit sometimes. So that being said, shout out to everybody that, is traversing today with a smile on their face. All right. Everyone who is using and utilizing the different protocols, as well as the resources that are provided so that we can voice our opinions. Not every time we get opportunity to do so. So I would take the opportunity now, gripes from whether it be last year or a year before that. Just take the time to articulate what those gripes are, and not necessarily attack any department or person, because we all have jobs to do, right? And sometimes we're on the receiving end of things that we don't want to be on the receiving end too. But as parents, we are their greatest support system, both for our children as well as for the department. We are the greatest source of support, and I don't think we take that into consideration highly enough. So that being said, I really, really hope everybody got a nice hot cup of bush tea and a nice, good, positive message in their heart. Be sure to pray over your children if you haven't done so already, every single day. Cover them from the crown of their head to the bottom of their feet, and make sure that they start the day off the right way. Now, getting into our community highlights of the day, we had some great news over the weekend. We have Virgin Islands athletes Cindy Claudio and Keon Gabriel returned home Sunday after each earning a bronze medal at the Central American and Caribbean Games. Claudio, who also served as a Virgin Islands police officer, made history with her medal-winning performance. Family members, supporters, and territorial officials welcomed the Virgin Islands team home, and we got to say congratulations to you guys. You definitely done well, and we are so proud of you. That's that VI pride shining. Yes. When you see them, be sure to congratulate them. Also, first day of school, the new Arthur A. Richards pre-K through 8 school on St. Croix officially opened on Friday, marking the first Virgin Islands public school rebuilt completely from the ground up using disaster recovery funding. The campus can accommodate approximately 750 students and includes storm-resilient classrooms, playgrounds, a swimming pool, cafeteria, library, and media center. Could you believe it? A state-of-the-art school right here in these Virgin Islands. I know so many children, I'm curious, what is their uniform? But I know so many children are walking onto this campus today for the first time, being able to utilize this brand new state-of-the-art complex and learning institution, and it's one of the biggest milestones in the territory post-hurricane rebuilding efforts that arrived Friday, when the government formally opened the new school right here on the Big Island. It is the first public school in the Virgin Islands rebuilt entirely from the ground up, and I said that already, right? Using the disaster recovery funding. Now, the new campus sits on the former Evelyn M. Williams Elementary School property and has capacity for approximately 750 students. What else? Students are scheduled to begin using the facility as public school reopens. Education Commissioner Dion Wells Hendrington said the project represents the beginning of a much larger transformation of Virgin Islands public schools, with close to 20 additional projects moving through various stages of design or construction. Officials also emphasized preserving the history behind both educators connected to the campus. Arthur Richards' name remains on the school, while Evelyn Williams' contribution is memorialized through the Commons. Lawmakers have additionally encouraged the placement of photographs and historical information so students understand the Virgin Islanders whose names surround them. And oh my God, look at that. Goosebumps. Chills. Yes, children need to know historically why the names grace the halls that they walk through every single day. They need to understand the history behind it and not just who they are, but whose they are. Because these individuals walked so that we could run, right? They did it all. They ran so that we could walk. Is that how it goes? Yeah. They ran so we could walk. Yeah, because we're supposed to get easier, right? So somebody doing something. But yes, they ran so that we can walk. So it's important that these children know the importance of the names that adorn their schools, and photos go a long way as well, because that does so much more to make you feel connected, as well as their stories, contributions, awards, medals, you name it. I think we just need to do a better job of highlighting those Virgin Islanders. And listen, that's just the schools. Mind you, we have roadways and estates and all kinds of things that have names to them, and we don't know the history behind it. But VI Pride definitely got to shine through, and that's one way to make sure that we do it, especially with these new generations that are just a little bit less connected to the culture for, technological reasons. So I'm gonna put it as that, because technology is definitely, replacing a lot of the old school ways we used to do things. We don't quite gather around as much as we used to, and as such, things get lost in the sauce. So this is a great way to make sure that they stay connected and they truly feel that VI pride every step of their development. All right, now let's get into some more news. All right, churches, civic organizations, and residents gathered at Point Udall on St. Croix Saturday for a territory-focused community prayer gathering. The event brought residents together around concerning affecting families and communities while emphasizing unity and collective responsibility. All right. Also, moving along, members of the 6th Constitutional Convention's Human Rights Committee are opening a series of virtual working sessions to public observation as delegates continue developing language for a proposed Virgin Islands Constitution. The sessions give residents another opportunity to follow a process that could ultimately determine how fundamental rights are written into a territorial constitution. All right. Also, in more somber news, St. Croix is dealing with yet another deadly act of gun violence after 2 brothers were killed early Sunday morning near La Terraza Bar and Restaurant in Castle Coakley. Police identified the victims as, and I hate doing these, but police have identified the victim as 30-year-old Jordani Eduardo and 25-year-old Deli Eduardo. The 911 emergency center began receiving calls reporting gunshot victims at approximately 4:13 Sunday morning. When officers and emergency medical personnel arrived, they found one brother unresponsive on the ground with an apparent gunshot wound to his upper body. He was pronounced dead at the scene. The second brother had been taken by private vehicle to Juan F. Louis Hospital, where he was also pronounced dead. The killings brought St. Croix's homicide count to 17 for 2026 and the territory-wide total to 30. With another 13 homicides recorded on St. Thomas, the Criminal Investigation Bureau immediately opened a double homicide investigation. Police later announced that they are seeking 27-year-old, and I'm not going to say their name, but in connection with the killings, investigators are asking anyone who was in the Castle Coakley area around the time of the shooting, witnessed suspicious activity, or possesses information that could assist detectives to contact law enforcement or Crime Stoppers. All right, so definitely, if you have any information concerning that or any of these cases that have passed, please do something about your community. If you truly feel as deeply as we say we do, make sure that you are making the changes necessary in order for you to, excise a better Virgin Islands. We gotta act on it. It's so much more than just having the conversations, especially on algorithm, because clicks ain't gonna do nothing for the situation that we're really dealing with. And you're just seeing more and more families go into the state of depression and grief and heartache, and it's so hard to see because it's almost spilling over onto the streets. It's like everywhere you go, you see it, you feel it, you're hearing about it, or someone is talking about it, or every day you're hearing somebody saying my condolences. And it's harder and harder to deal with. And of course, it's only adding to this major exodus that we deal with regularly, where people are just up and leaving. And at the end of the day, I don't think any of us want to see a Virgin Islands with no Virgin Islanders in it. you know, and that becomes a very real reality if we pay attention to especially other Caribbean islands that are dealing with similar situations as well. So that being said, all right, guys, let's do our part to make a change. All right. Now, also, police are asking residents and visitors on St. Thomas to remain alert following a series of early morning armed robberies. Authorities issued the public warning Saturday while asking anyone with information about the incidents to assist investigators. The recent crimes have added to concerns surrounding violent crimes across the territory, particularly incidents involving firearms and attacks on residents during hours when fewer people are on the streets. Police are asking the community to pay attention to suspicious people in vehicles and to preserve any home or business surveillance footage that may have captured activity connected to the robberies. Authorities are also reminding residents not to physically confront armed suspects. Anyone who witnesses a robbery or believes one is occurring should prioritize personal safety. Contact 911 and provide investigators with as much identifying information as possible. Also, a Virgin Islands family is sharing the story of 49-year-old Patrick Fret, whose medical emergency exposed some of the difficulties residents can encounter when life-saving specialty treatment is unavailable locally. Fret arrived at Schneider Regional Medical Center in late June suffering from severe chest pain and was ultimately diagnosed with an aortic dissection, a dangerous tear involving the body's main artery. Doctors determined that Fret required specialized surgery that was not available in the Virgin Islands. That meant arranging an emergency medical evacuation, identifying an off-island hospital with the appropriate specialist and available bed, and coordinating an air ambulance capable of transporting him. His mother, Rosemary Fret, described delays and difficulties during that process. Her son ultimately died during the medical evacuation. His death has renewed discussions about what happens when Virgin Islands residents develop conditions requiring medical specialists and procedures that the territory's hospital just cannot provide. The situation also highlights broader insurance challenges. Unlike residents of the 50 states, Virgin Islanders do not have access to an Affordable Care Act marketplace through healthcare.gov, while the territory's Medicaid financing structure also differs substantially from that of the states. And that's a very, very heavy conversation for anyone living on the island, especially when you have children, because unfortunately, you know, emergencies don't pick and choose. They don't schedule their days when they're going to show up. It just happens. And what happens when you're knee deep in an emergency and then you find out that there is no way to cater to your emergency here on island? You have no choice but to travel. What happens when that situation is already in dire circumstances? Paperwork has to be taken care of. It adds to the time for care, and it just prolongs the ability for us to have emergency care services. This is something I'd like to see solved sooner rather than later, because especially with those of us who have aging parents, it's just a very scary situation. Could this individual have possibly survived had they gotten the care that they needed in ample time? And then let's not talk about, so often people say, oh, well, that means you have to jump on a plane. But I can list off the top of my head at least 5 conditions where altitude and air pressure in airline cabin is not the ideal position for that emergency. So what happens when flying is out of the question? We really have to get a hold on our healthcare situation here in the territory, and that's from everything from staffing to, you name it, supplies, and right down to the actual structures themselves that people are working in and out of. Our hospitals, you know, really need we need to really declare a state of emergency where that is concerned. That among a few other things, but that is just one of the areas where we're saying as a territory something needs to be done, and it needs to be done now. Are we waiting for the other shoe to drop or for it to become a more urgent emergent situation? Not sure, but listen, this is why we have to make sure we're paying attention, because as we continue to choose those who we put into leadership positions, it is your responsibility to make sure that you have made your voice heard and you are making informed decisions when you head to the polls. All right. So that being said, registration for voting has officially opened back up. Did you go and register to vote? Make sure to head on over to www.vivote.gov to check your status. All right. Registration and all that good stuff. All right. So that being said, I have another story or two before we cut to a quick commercial break. Virgin Islands households could eventually pay a new $19.95. That's $19.95, that is, monthly solid waste fee under a revenue plan being developed by the Waste Management Authority. The authority is also considering a $3 charge for each occupied hotel and short-term rental room, along with revised tipping and septage fees. The proposed changes are intended to generate roughly $13.5 million in recurring annual revenue. Waste management officials told senators that the authority's financial problems cannot be solved through annual government appropriations alone, and that a more dependable source of operating revenue is needed. The authority is carrying substantial unpaid obligations. Officials said outstanding vendor debt is expected to reach slightly more than $44 million, including some obligations dating back as many as 9 years. That's insane. Oh my God. Ring the alarm. Call Queen Mary. We need to talk about this. 9 years. Imagine you as a small business or a vendor waiting 9 years for payment for work that has already been completed. That is absolutely absurd. And this is where the bottlenecks happen in our territory. These are the kind of things that discourage people from even wanting to do anything at all. And then we find ourselves as vendors not willing to do business with the government. And that in itself is just, it's a catch-22, because then we spend extra money to fly people in for the services that exist on island, but we've already ruined those relationships, haven't we? So we got to talk about this, and I commend the authority for trying to find a new way to secure funding, but it can't always be the resolve for these issues cannot always end up on the backs of everyday citizens that are already taking the blows, okay? Especially when funding is supposed to be there for these things already. So something needs to be done in terms of, checks and balances, figuring out why it takes so long to pay vendors. Why is money not allotted prior to, and where's the money going if it's already allotted and then people are not being paid, especially in a timely manner? These are bottlenecks that affect our territory, because if our industries, or I gotta say, the finances of our territory lay on the backs of these small businesses, then what does it mean when the small businesses are not being paid? Okay? We got to get this under wraps. Now, the residential charge remains a proposal rather than an immediate bill being sent to households. I'll say that again. The residential charge remains a proposal rather than an immediate bill being sent to households, okay? Where characterized, it is a user fee based on the cost of providing waste services rather than a tax, and further governmental action would be necessary as the authority moves forward with revenue forms, okay? The authority is carrying substantial unpaid obligations as stated, and Executive Director Hannibal Mike Ware described the authority as trapped in a continuing cycle where new bills arrive while old ones remain unpaid. And I'm pretty sure this is not the only department where this is taking place. I'm absolutely sure this is not the only department where this is taking place. So I just want to see a resolve. So these are the questions you got to ask as you're listening to, the different platforms. We're seeing all the independent candidates coming out now, and these are the things we got to be listening for, okay? And I made my stance very, very solid before the election season even really kicked off. And what I said is, I personally, and this is no views of the station, this is just Neeks talking, this is me, okay? I personally will not, cannot, have not supported anyone running for anything if you are not paying attention to this particular crisis where vendors are not being paid while work is being carried out on a regular basis. Be sure to pay attention to that, okay? This clears up a lot of other small issues, because if vendors get paid, that money goes back into the community, and there's something to circulate is not circulating. And listen, even your own physical body, you see, you're moving, you're healthy and all of that, let one of your arteries stop functioning properly. Let there be a blockage of any sort anywhere, and let me tell you, everything is going to go haywire, and that's exactly what's happening here in our territory where these things are concerned. That being said, All right, guys, keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. We're going to cut to a brief commercial break, and then we're going to be back with some more news right here in our territory. Is the island's hottest, the new number one, is 101.3, one of 1.3 Roe FM. And I got a message here in our comments from Ready for VLA. It says, good morning, wishing every student, administrator, teacher, staffer, and parent a great 2026-2027 school year. Thank you, Senator, and your whole team. Much love to you guys. We're going to cut to a brief break, and we're going to be right back after these messages. Don't touch that dial. Just make sure you got something nice and extra hot and sweet in that cup, okay? It's your girl Neeks on Bushtina Morning. Don't touch that dial.
Number one for hip hop. 101.3 Roe FM. WEVI.
Keep it locked.
Hey, St. Croix, listen up. Your favorite spot, formerly known as Spicy Grill, is still turning up the heat as the Flaming Grill. Same flavors you love, now with more options. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. You can't miss it. We've got barbecue chicken, baby back ribs, pork chops, lamb chops, ribeye, and New York steak. Plus, fresh grilled salmon, mahi-mahi, and shrimp. And don't sleep on those daily specials. Kankin butter sauce, rich oxtail, Tuesday roti, and so much more. Always cooked just right. Burger lovers, you're covered. Chicken, steak, salmon, dolphin, veggie burgers with fries, wraps, wings, salads, hot sides, the whole lineup. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. Call ahead 340-778-6270 and follow us on Facebook. Same roots, a whole new fire.
This is Superintendent Jurgen of the St. Thomas St. John School District, welcoming you to the 2026-2027 school year. As we step into this new year together, I want to express my excitement for the opportunities that lie ahead for our faculty, staff, and students. This year, let's focus on setting positive goals and embracing a mindset that tackles every challenge with enthusiasm. Whether it's academic achievement, personal growth, or community involvement, each one of us plays a vital role. Parents, your support is crucial. Faculty and staff, your dedication inspires. And students, your potential is limitless. Together, let's create an environment where everyone thrives and feels valued. Have a wonderful and productive school year 2026-2027.
From St. Croix to every home, building dreams where hope has grown. For our youth and families too, our brighter future starts with you. For Gage Edmonds, let's rise today, leading our islands the better way. Building together, strong and free, for a brighter Virgin Islands community. Hear the call, working for the good of all. Better roads, safer streets, growing farms with food to eat, healthcare, jobs, opportunity. Together we'll build prosperity. Gage Edmonds, stand as one. The future's bright, the work's begun. Together we build, we grow, we prosper too. A stronger Virgin Islands starts with you.
Paid for by Friends of Gage Edmonds for Senate.
For 20 years, J. Benton Construction has been proud to build in the Virgin Islands, but we have never built alone. To the architects who imagined the possibilities, the engineers who designed the solutions, talented tradespeople who brought each plan to life, and the suppliers and community members who supported our team every step of the way. Thank you. As we celebrate this milestone anniversary, we are honored to recognize our incredible team who is behind every project, every partnership, and every success. J. Benton Construction, recognizing the skilled hands of Virgin Islanders that have built our islands for 2 decades.
As the cost of housing continues to rise, owning a home should never be compromised. I am Senator Marvin Bryden. Building or expanding a home is attainable and affordable. With the Virgin Islands Territorial Association of Realtors, we found modern technologies and smarter strategies that cut building costs by at least 40% while maintaining quality. Join us at the second Innovative Housing Construction Summit, Thursday, August 13 on St. Thomas at the UVI Innovation Center, and Saturday, August 15 on St. Croix at the UVI Great Hall from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Contractors and tradesmen stay ahead of the trends. Homeowners and future homeowners meet the experts who can make your plan a reality at the Innovative Housing Construction Summit. Discover how to lower your cost and lead with a real plan to build your home. Register to attend at usviinnovativeconstruction.com or call 857-575-2865.
Brought to you by the Virgin Islands Territorial Association of Realtors.
Look! 1 gig upload, 1 gig download. Perfection! I'm downloading a video on how to upload videos while uploading a video on how to download them. All at the same time. Symmetrical. Beautiful. 1 gig for $15 a month. Switch to Liberty True Fiber now. Visit libertyvi.com/fiber.
Hey yo, this is boy PMPA Pompa, and you're listening to 101.3 Roe FM. And anytime you're in or out the area, we listen to 101.3 Roe FM. Nothing else.
Yes, that's right. You heard Bumpa. You heard what that man said. Nothing else.
I wanna take you high. I wanna take you low. Looking into your eyes.
Yes. This is Shiloh by Cruise Rock. From right here on the Big Island. Shout out. And you tune into 101.3 Roe FM WEVI, and your host is with the Moses Neeks from the Bush Tea in the Morning radio show. Let's get back into it. I like this little jam here, you know. So smooth. Definitely Bush Tea vibes. What you say? And the video just as nice.
I can feel the energy. It's a good vibe like a dopamine. You want the remedy sweet like a melody. You're my destiny.
Oh yes. All right, so listen, let's get back into it because you know time flies when we're having fun. Consumer protection officials reported expired products at dozens of businesses. What is going on, and what have we been getting away with for way too long? All right, now consumer protection enforcement is under scrutiny after officials reported that 60 of 90 businesses inspected territory-wide were cited for expired products. Busted. Now, the findings emerged as lawmakers examined operations at the Department of Licensing and Consumer Affairs and questioned how effectively the territory is monitoring products being sold to consumers. Yes, QTNA, questions that need answers, right? Expired food and consumer products have long generated complaints from residents, particularly given the Virgin Islands' dependence on imported goods and the time products may spend in shipping, warehouses, and stores before reaching to consumers. Separately, the Department of Justice is pursuing compliance involving 16 St. Thomas St. John gas retailers connected to subpoenas issued as part of an investigation. DLCA has also issued a warning about people attempting to fraudulently collect fees from businesses. Officials stress that legitimate DLCA employees do not collect payments in the field, and businesses should not hand over money or sensitive financial information to anyone claiming otherwise. Y'all are getting slick. What? That's smooth. I ain't gonna even lie to you. If you even tried that was smooth. I don't recommend it though. But No, businesses, you got to be a little bit more, and if ever anybody comes to you and says, hey, you have to pay X, Y, and Z, just let them know, hey, I'll come to your office, I'll come to you myself. I'm not paying anything here. And especially because everybody have tap with everything now. It's so easy to get a device now, right? So that being said, please use caution, but in the spirit of using caution, please use discernment as well when y'all are stocking these shelves, okay? No games over there, because y'all playing Russian roulette with people's health and livelihoods. You don't know what you could be causing in anyone's household at any given time. So let's just, again, every day to come out here and just, treat each other well. And I mean it. So that being said, I hope this is resolved sooner rather than later. Business owners, if you know you are in violation, get on those shelves, check it out. Yes, things are hard. Nobody wants to lose inventory, but you don't want to be responsible for anybody's loss of life or limb either. So please make sure that the items that you are selling are well within their expiration time frames. Okay? Now, that being said, agricultural officials face senators Friday during consideration of the department's proposed fiscal year 2027 budget, with lawmakers focusing heavily on drought conditions, funding for farmers, and continuing concerns surrounding the territory's slaughterhouse infrastructure. Water access remains a major concern for farmers, particularly during prolonged dry periods when livestock and crops require additional support, like right now. If you've been looking around, definitely we had a little bit of a dry spell for sure. All right, lawmakers questioned how the department is preparing for drought and whether agricultural producers have sufficient access to water and other emergency assistance. The condition and availability of abattoirs also remain central to efforts to expand local meat production. Without dependable slaughter and processing infrastructure, livestock farmers face significant limitations even when they successfully raise animals for market. The hearing also examined how government funding is being distributed to agricultural programs and what additional investment will be needed if the territory wants to increase local food production and reduce its dependence on imported foods, which is a great way to avoid, that sell by date on the shelves. Is the more natural and the more locally produced things are, the less we have to worry about that. And then on top of that, by the time it gets here, imagine shipping being delayed, especially with this war, this never ending thing that's been going on, and this battle for oil and power and, grown men throwing tantrums. I didn't say that, but hey, at the end of the day, these are the things that are affecting our everyday lives, from as simple as rice and bread to fruits and vegetables, canned goods and produce, you name it. Okay, everything that has to be imported into the territory. The longer it takes to get here, the less time we have to sell. And I can imagine how that affects businesses and, business owners, markets and stuff of that nature. But guys, say one, say two, we really got to get a hang on these things. Everything is imported. So we need more of a balance, in my opinion, right? More of a balance should definitely bridge some of the gaps. Now, that being said, the Virgin Islands Casino Control Commission remains without a permanent chairman and chief executive officer, and without an executive officer or director months after both leadership positions became vacant. Acting chair Carolyn Herman Purcell told senators that agency operations have continued despite the vacancies. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. nominated Bureau of Internal Revenue Director Joel Lee in March to become chairman and CEO, but his nomination remains before the legislature without an announced confirmation hearing. Senators have also raised questions about allegations contained in litigation involving Lee. The executive director position has been vacant since April. Commission officials said staff members are cross-trained and have continued processing licensing and daily responsibilities. But lawmakers questioned whether leaving such a significant management position vacant is sustainable. The commission is requesting approximately $1.72 million from the general fund for fiscal year 2027. Lawmakers are simultaneously examining issues involving video lottery terminals, casino regulation, and the agency's long-term leadership structure. Also, the Federal Aviation Administration has ordered mandatory inspections of 471 U.S. registered Boeing 737 MAX airplanes because of the possibility of structural cracking near the forward galley door. The directive covers certain 737-8, 737-9, and 737-8200 aircraft and takes effect September 10th. The FAA emphasized that no cracks have been reported in this area on the MAX fleet. The action is preventative after similar cracks were discovered on older Boeing 737 models with comparable design and manufacturing characteristics. The issue has a connection to Virgin Islands travel because of Boeing's 737 aircraft regularly serving the territory. Southwest Airlines began St. Thomas service earlier this year and operates an all Boeing 737 fleet, including hundreds of MAX 8 aircraft. That does not mean an aircraft flying to the Virgin Islands has been found with a crack. However, the FAA identifies affected planes according to specific technical criteria rather than flying routes. Airlines must perform the required inspections and make repairs if a problem is discovered. All right, moving right along, the 6th Constitutional Convention is moving deeper into the process of drafting a proposed constitution for the Virgin Islands. Members of its Human Rights Committee have announced public virtual working sessions where residents can observe delegates developing language addressing fundamental rights. The territory has attempted several times over the decades to create its own constitution. The Virgin Islands currently operates primarily under the Federal Revised Organic Act of 1954, rather than a locally drafted constitution approved through the federal or full federal process. Human rights provisions could ultimately address questions involving individual liberties, equality, due process, and relationship between residents and their territorial government. The working session allows the public to see how proposed language develops before a complete draft moves further through the convention. Whatever document ultimately emerges will face additional steps before becoming governing law. For now, the convention remains in the drafting and deliberation stage, with committees working through individual sections and residents being given opportunities to follow the process. And that's pretty interesting, if I do say so myself, because a Virgin Islands constitution, what would that actually look like? What would we include and what would we omit? I really would like to know. All right, if you want to join in on any of these conversations, 340-715-7948, that's the number to call. That being said, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break right here on the island's hottest. It's 101.3 Roe FM, WEVI, and Bush T in the morning. Shake up that cup. Got all that goodness down at the bottom. Keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Listening to everything Virgin Islands. 101.3 Roe FM. WEVI.
If paying less sounds good, paying nothing sounds even better. Introducing, well, nothing from T-Mobile. Pay $0 today for a new phone. $0 taxes, $0 fees, $0 money down for well-qualified customers and eligible devices. There's never been a better time to switch. Make the move in just 15 minutes with the T-Life app. Let nothing hold you back and stay connected with our 5G network.
The fiber fever. 1 gig for $50 a month for a limited time. What are you waiting for? Switch to Liberty True Fiber now. Visit libertyvi.com/fiber.
Hey St. Croix, listen up. Your favorite spot, formerly known as Spicy Grill, is still turning up the heat as the Flaming Grill. Same flavors you love, now with more options. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. You can't miss it. We've got barbecue chicken, baby back ribs, pork chops, lamb chops, ribeye, and New York steak. Plus fresh grilled salmon, mahi-mahi, and shrimp. And don't sleep on those daily specials. Kankin butter sauce, rich oxtail, Tuesday roti, and so much more. Always cooked just right. Burger lovers, you're covered. Chicken, steak, salmon, dolphin, veggie burgers with fries, wraps, wings, salads, hot sides, the whole lineup. Open Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. Located across from the Agricultural Fairgrounds on the road headed to the BMV. Call ahead 340-778-6270 and follow us on Facebook. Same roots, a whole new fire.
Hey hon, have you checked out Precision Auto Parts? They have everything you need for your car.
Is that the new auto parts store where cars only used to be by 5 corners?
Yes, they offer the widest variety of domestic and foreign parts. From oil to batteries, filters to lawnmowers and trimmer accessories, they have it all.
Wow, that's amazing. I heard they had the lowest prices in town too.
Absolutely. Plus, their customer service is top notch. They really know their stuff.
For all your automobile accessory needs, visit Precision Auto Parts. Don't settle for anything less than the best. Call them today at 340-773-7276.
Precision Auto Parts, your one-stop shop for quality auto parts at unbeatable prices. Precision Auto Parts, for a smoother ride.
Need reliable trucking and trash removal? Just call Bates Trucking and Trash Removal. Whether it's residential or commercial, Bates has you covered with roll-off bin rentals, mulcher rentals, debris removal, concrete septic tanks and cisterns, dependable trash removal services, and even water delivery. Looking for the best rates and dependable service? Make the smart choice. Choose Bates. Call 340-778-1649 today. That's 340-778-1649. Bates Trucking and Trash Removal, providing reliable service Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. When the job needs to get done right, trust Bates. This August, there's a reason to visit Caravel Casino every day of the week. Sundays, start your day with our $2,500 early bird drawings. From noon until 4 p.m., we're giving away $500 every hour, plus free slot play for Rewards Club members. Mondays, if you're 50 or better, enjoy $10 in free slot play. Tuesdays and Saturdays, Reward Club members receive tier-based free slot play bonuses, while Wednesdays and Thursdays keep the excitement going with even more free slot play offers. Then, every Friday night, it's our $2,500 progressive drawings. Join us from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. for 4 chances to win $500 cash with unclaimed prizes rolling into the final drawing of the night. Plus, new members receive $25 in free slot play, and Rewards Club members can celebrate their birthday with special birthday free play. Visit Caravel Casino this August, where every day brings another chance to win.
What you saying? I saved me, boy. You ain't hear about that shooting the other day? The partner that been in our class? Yeah, I can't believe it. I just see this man the other day. Man, we really have to leave the guns them alone, man. Ain't worth it at all. You're right, dog. We have families, children, and we really just suffering for no reason. You know our classmate leave a youth behind? Yeah, I don't talk to my younger brother them and tell them to stay out of trouble and just talk to somebody if they need help. Yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing too. Be easy, my boy. Yes, sir.
Hey kings, fellas, my VI men, we need you to stop the bleeding. We need you to be an example and lead our community into the future. We don't want to bury another brother.
This message has been brought to you by the St. Croix Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and Crime Stoppers USVI 1-800-222-TIPS.
Experience the luxury of beauty and joy at Violette's. Looking for the perfect fragrance, beauty essential, or stylish travel accessory? You'll find it all at Violette's. Discover an incredible selection of perfumes and cosmetics, beautiful handbags, the latest fragrances for kids, thoughtful shower gifts, trendy backpacks, including backpacks with wheels, and a wide variety of carry-on luggage and full-size suitcases for your next adventure. And here's even more to love. Now through Labor Day, enjoy 20% off all Kipling products. Visit Violette's, open Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, call 786-622-1909.
From the VI Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Scott Kaplan. Heat advisory in effect today from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Hazy sunshine, another plume of Saharan dust moving through, breezy and hot. We'll get up into the lower 90s this afternoon. Offshore, east winds 15 to 20 knots, gusts to 30 knots, diminishing in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 6 feet, visibility 1 to 3 miles in haze. Partly cloudy, hazy this evening, then a few showers and thunderstorms overnight, breezy, low near 80. Partly to mostly sunny, hazy again Tuesday, an afternoon shower, a thunderstorm, breezy, high near 90. A shower, a thunderstorm Tuesday evening, then partly cloudy, hazy, breezy, low near 80. Some morning showers, then partly sunny, breezy, hazy again Wednesday, high in the lower 90s. Hazy, sunshine, windy both Thursday and Friday, highs both days 90 to 95. From the VI Radio Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Scott Kaplan.
It could all be so simple, but you'd rather make it hard. Loving you is like a battle, and we both end up with scars. Tell me who I have to get so reciprocity. See, no one loves you more than me, and no one ever will.
Hey. Yeah. We're back.
Is this just a silly game that forces you to act this way?
Something about this jam right here, Lauren. Something about this jam, Lauren. Sing it.
Then pretend that you can't say. Tell me who I have to be.
Who we gotta be, Lauren?
To get so reciprocity. See, no one loves you more than me.
That's right, VI, and no one ever will.
No matter.
It's 101.3 Roe FM, WEVI, and your hostess with the most is Neeks from Bush Tea in the morning.
It ain't working. It ain't working when I try to walk away.
Man, Lauren is speaking to me right now.
This is crazy.
This is exactly how I feel about living and traversing the VA right now. I keep letting you back in.
How can I explain myself?
I just love these Virgin Islands, man. I just read a post, somebody saying it's getting harder and harder to stay here. It's so expensive.
When no one else. See, I know what we've got to do.
Don't let go, Lauren. Don't let go.
And I'll let go too.
We gotta stand true, back against the wall.
'Cause no one's hurt me more than you.
Oh, and no one ever will. All right, that's enough of that. Guys, let's get back into these articles for today. What's going on in and around our shores right here under this equator and these emeralds that we love to call home. All right, so public schools across St. Croix, St. Thomas, and St. John have opened today for the 2026-2027 school year. But, however, there is a major exception. Kindergarten through third grade students at Lockhart School on St. Thomas are being told to remain at home temporarily, okay? While contractors complete work in their classrooms, students in grades 4 through 8 at Lockhart are reporting as scheduled, thankfully, all right? The opening comes after the Board of Education raised serious concerns about conditions at several campuses, including roof leaks, mold, brown water, air conditioning problems, and unfinished repairs. The St. Croix Educational Complex had been among the schools under scrutiny because of leaks and water near electrical infrastructure. Education officials now say all St. Croix schools are able to receive students. A contractor has also been secured to repair the St. Croix Educational Complex gymnasium roof, with the work expected to take about 1 week. All right. So that being said, congratulations to everybody who worked to make that happen. You know, every year we kind of hear about these little delays with the schools, and it seems to be getting better, but we're not quite out of hot water as yet. So questions, and I know the public wants to know, what happens in, you know, during the summertime that causes these delays with the school year? But we had Department of Education here not too long ago, and I got to say a huge shout out to them because they went above and beyond to make sure that there was a back to school extravaganza that took place. They gave away, you know, supplies, and they made sure to come on the airways and make sure that you are informed as to what you can expect, not just today, but, you know, the entire opening and of school, especially with the redistricting and all that stuff, the opening of the new Arthur Richards School and other things. So apparently funding seems to be one of the issues, but time, we got to put an emphasis on time as well too, because these delays affect parents, especially in a community where we have so many single parent households. Now, somebody asked yesterday, why is nobody with the other parent of their children? I wouldn't say nobody, but the majority I don't even know how to say this. The majority of the community seems to like not stick around. What happens? What is it with having kids that actually causes that to happen? You know, and even in some situations, people stay together for years and years and years, and then as soon as, you know, they have the dynamic of raising children together, you know, you see things start to wither and disintegrate. And I think a big part of that, especially in the first few years of having children, right? You don't, especially if you've never been a parent before, you don't quite know what you're stepping into parenthood. I think as a community, as a black community, not just the Virgin Islands, but as a black community, whether you live in the States, whether you live in Africa, whether you live in the Caribbean, regardless of whatever, South America, whatever, I think we do a horrible job of actually painting the picture of what really takes place when especially in the first year or two of parenting. We talk about the late nights and the Pampers and the breastfeeding and the milk supply and the this and the that and all the gadgets and gizmos galore that you can use. But nobody actually tells you just how much both parents are first-handedly faced with their own childhoods upon becoming parents. It's like one of those things that happens almost near immediately, but nobody talks about it. And considering that we have so many different generations and what we view our own childhoods as, I don't see anybody volunteering to go back, right? Raise of hands if you really, really want to go back to your own childhood, aside from the part from the not paying bills and not having responsibilities and not having to really, you know, depend on anyone, which if you're an adult, you probably ain't dependent on anybody anyways. But I'm talking about, you know, dealing with your day to day or navigating your own life. There's a certain level of support that should come with being a child. I say should loosely because not everybody is privy to that, right? But there is a lot more support available to children than there is for adults. Now, that being said, childhoods also come with a lot less control in terms of what you're exposed to. A lot of people's major life traumas take place in their childhoods. Now, when you become a parent, what nobody ever really tells you is how much of your childhood you are going to come face to face with, whether you are ready or not. So becoming a parent, especially during the pregnancy and all that stuff, you focused on the cute parts and the what you're wearing and what happening, changes taking place in your body and how in love you guys are, if you are, and I'm talking traditionally, right? All that good stuff. But then what happens when the child is born? and you're now, because every step of parenting, every stage of parenting, you refer to your experiences to really determine how you're going to approach a situation, right? So when you were a child and your parents had to have the conversation with you about the birds and the bees, it wasn't something you had to be nervous about or you had to be strategic about or really think through because you were the child in the situation. When you become the adult in the situation and you're having the conversations, the first thing that you do as a parent is try to think back as to what was done with you when you were going through that. So what did my parents do when I asked this question, or what was the response that was given to me when I asked this question when I was this age? And I think when we have so many differing perspectives, in parenting and experiences, a lot of us, after leaving childhood, literally put it down or throw it down and try to take control of your own lives, right? What that looks like, how much money you make, your career, what you wear, how you carry yourself, how you speak, how you articulate, all of that good stuff. You now have full reign over your own life to pick and choose what your life looks like. Nobody is doubling back to their childhood to say, maybe I should take care of this, until it starts to show up in areas of your life. Now, whether that be through, relationships, friendships, X, Y, and Z, but nothing will draw the piñata string on your life quite like parenting will. And when you're going through that, it puts you in a space of vulnerability that most people have never, nor will they probably ever in their lifetime, be okay with. And worse, when you bring another individual and their traumas, their backgrounds, their parental tidbits and whatnot, their belief systems, all of that, and a lot of people just don't have the necessary conversations that bring those things to the forefront. So regardless of how long you've been dating, you can see people being together for a long time, and then all of a sudden children are in the midst, and within 2 to 3 years it dissipates as if it was never there to begin with. And a lot of times that's why, right? So and that's just from me doing my own reading and background, because I myself have asked myself the question, why are so many couples that started off together, decided to make children together, not together now that the children are here? And regardless of upbringing, regardless of tax bracket, regardless of whether you went to public school or private school, regardless of religious background or heritage, it's just one of those things that continuously repeats itself in our communities. And I think we need to really just do a better job of communicating what it is to face yourself when you become a parent, because a lot of times the hardest thing for you to deal with in the room is not the child at all, but everything that comes with raising a child and everything that you have to reflect back on in your own childhood, or especially if you don't have anyone or you don't have a very strong support system to lean on for guidance, you're figuring it all out on your own. And mix that with two opposing backgrounds, and a lot of men can be very laid back, to which women start to take offense and feel like, oh, well, you're leaving me to do it on my own. But how were they raised? You got to ask yourself, what do they see? What do they understand about parenthood based on how they were parented? A lot of our Caribbean cultures, Hispanic, Dominican, you name it, okay, Lucian, whatever the case may be, a lot of these young boys, how they are raised, the mindset that they are raised with, follow them straight through parenthood. And if they're not being taught the same level of responsibilities as girls are, regardless of where they're from or what their background or heritage are, how helpful do you think they're going to be when they become fathers? How involved, how forward thinking, how much do you think they're going to initiate, when it comes to their children, if they've always just been background noise throughout the course of their lives? Now, granted, yes, a lot of men are now becoming more self-aware and, showing up in those spaces and realizing that even if they themselves did not have fathers, the importance of fathers being in their children's lives. But a lot of them do not have any anything to go off of, any blueprints to follow. So they're kind of making up the rules as they go along, or leaning on other men to help them with that as well. So you got to say one, say two, but it affects everything in our territory, especially the minds of our up and coming leaders, our future generations, right? So this is just one of those things I saw in passing, and I figured this was one of those things I wanted to really talk about or touch on briefly. But we're gonna get back into some more news, because Lord, I could go on and on and on about these topics as far as it pertains to the black culture, the black community, black household, the black homes, the black families, and black love all together. All right, so but let's get into it, because we still have some more things to talk about. The Virgin Islands regulated cannabis industry may finally move into an actual production, with officials saying licensed cultivation could begin within weeks. Imagine that. The Office of Cannabis Regulation also believes at least 2 dispensaries could potentially open before the end of 2026. Commercial cannabis sales still cannot begin until the territory has an operational testing laboratory. Products must be tested for quality, potency, contaminants, and other standards before they can legally reach consumers. Stakeholders are currently targeting roughly October for that testing infrastructure to be ready. October is right around the corner. Oh my. The development marks a significant step after years of debate, legislation, and regulatory work. Once operations begin, officials will have to oversee cultivation, manufacturing, testing, product tracking, licensing, and compliance across the territory. No, that does not mean that you have the green light to go and break the law. Please use discernment, use wisdom. Okay? Use wisdom. If you don't know where your wisdom is at, close your eyes, talk to God, and ask some questions, hopefully to get answered for you quickly, because you got to be able to use discernment to know that this does not mean you are free to do as you please. Please, I say that, humbly. Now, that being said, the Virgin Islands Port Authority will hold a public meeting on August 14 regarding a planned $22.4 million improvement project at the St. Croix Container Port. The project is intended to modernize cargo infrastructure and strengthen the island's ability to handle goods moving through its port facilities. Ports are especially important in the Virgin Islands because so much of the territory's food, building materials, vehicles, equipment, and consumer goods arrive by sea. Improvements to container handling can affect shipping efficiency, business operations, and the movement of supplies throughout the island. The upcoming meeting will allow residents, businesses, and other stakeholders to hear more details about the project and provide input before the work progresses further. Also, the Virgin Islands is mourning the loss of Bradley Christian, a longtime St. Croix culture bearer whose work helped to preserve quadrille dancing, traditional Virgin Islands culture, and territorial official Madras design. His contributions made him a familiar and respected figure within the cultural community. Christian spent years helping to pass traditional practices to younger generations, particularly through dance, cultural education, and public performances. His work connected modern Virgin Islanders to traditions that might otherwise have faded as communities changed over time. His passing has prompted tributes remembering him not simply as a performer, but as someone who actively protected and taught Virgin Islands heritage. Also, a long-running kitchen problem at Colado Marco Elementary School on St. Croix may finally be resolved after J. Benton Construction offered to donate both the necessary parts and labor to complete the repairs before the new school year gets underway. The school has dealt with kitchen limitations for years, affecting how meals are prepared and served to students. Earlier reports indicated that the facility needed major repairs involving its gas system before the kitchen could return to full operation. The company's donation could allow the work to move forward without waiting for additional government funding or procurement delays, giving students and food service employees a better chance of starting the year with a functioning kitchen. And to that, ladies and gentlemen, I got to ring that bell. Oh yes, we've been hearing about that problem for quite some time, so I'm happy to see that. And shout out to J. Benton Construction for identifying that issue and being willing to create a actual resolve to the problem. That is definitely community taking care of self. All right. Oh, yes. Now, moving right along, we still have some more things we got to talk about. The Virgin Islands legislature has approved a controversial 99-year lease for a major resort development on Water Island, voting 11-3 in favor of the agreement. The proposed project, represents an estimated $300 million to $400 million investment and calls for a luxury hotel, marina, and private residences on roughly 180 acres of government-owned land. Earlier plans described at least 88 hotel rooms and as many as 100 private residences, along with restaurants, a spa, and other resort amenities. Supporters say the development could create construction and permanent jobs, expand the territory's hotel inventory, and generate millions of dollars in occupancy, property, and other taxes. Plans also call for infrastructure improvements involving roads, drainage, utilities, and marine facilities. Importantly, honeymoon beaching is being removed from the leased property, preserving traditional public access to the popular beach. The proposal has also generated substantial opposition and questions from Water Island residents and lawmakers. Concerns have centered on the extraordinary length of the lease, development of public land, housing infrastructure obligations, transparency, environmental impacts, and whether the government has secured sufficient protections for the public. Earlier hearings also raised questions about a $3 million performance bond and the proposed sale of branded residences. The legislature's approval does not mean construction can immediately begin, however. The project still faces regulatory and environmental requirements and other approvals before the proposed resort can be fully developed. Now, 99 years. I didn't even know you could do a lease for that long. 99 years. Do you realize that no one who is possibly, other than probably children, no one who is actively involved will be either around to answer for this or be present if this tends to go left for our territory for any reason. And the reason why I have a concern about the 99 years is we see with even lesser timelines how quickly things change, especially here in our territory. 99 years. I just want to know, and I'm going to find out more or less why that was not challenged more. But hey, we got to talk about it, right? Also, the Virgin Islands Department of Health is facing serious financial pressure after officials revealed approximately $8.85 million in outstanding vendor debt. During recent Senate budget hearings, the unpaid obligations involve vendors providing goods and services needed to operate health programs throughout the territory. One of the most concerning issues involves off-island medical providers caring for Virgin Islands patients. Lawmakers were told that payment delays have become serious enough that some providers have threatened to return patients to the territory because they have not been paid. Senators questioned health officials about how those debts could affect residents who must leave the Virgin Islands for specialized medical treatment unavailable locally. We spoke about that a little bit earlier. The hearing also uncovered a roughly $2.8 million shortfall in the Ryan White HIV/AIDS program, which helps to provide medication and healthcare services to people living with HIV. Lawmakers additionally questioned money that had not been transferred as required to help Virgin Islands Fire and Emergency Medical Services for ambulance operations. Health officials were pressed to explain how quickly vendors can be paid and how the department intends to prevent financial problems from interfering with patient care. The disclosures come as lawmakers review the department's spending and proposed budget while attempting to determine how much money is actually needed to maintain essential healthcare services. Also, major changes are coming for thousands of Virgin Islands residents receiving supplemental nutritional assistance program, or SNAP benefits as we call it. Beginning September 1, approximately 5,000 recipients could be affected by expanded federal requirements involving work, education, approved training, or volunteer participation. Under the requirements, affected recipients generally need to demonstrate qualifying activity equivalent to about 20 hours per week. Although exemptions apply to certain individuals in circumstances, failing to meet the requirements or failing to document an exemption could eventually result in the loss of food assistance for affected recipients. The financial impact extends beyond individual households. The Virgin Islands government share of the administrative costs of operating SNAP is scheduled to increase from 50% to 75% in fiscal year 2027. At the same time, the Department of Human Services is seeking an approximate $200.98 million fiscal year 2027 operating budget, combining local and federal funding for the wide range of programs it administers. Residents receiving SNAP should pay close attention to notices from Human Services, particularly regarding work requirements, exemptions, and documentation. The changes do not mean every SNAP recipient would automatically lose benefits on September 1. Eligibility will depend on individual circumstances and whether recipients satisfy or are exempt from the applicable requirements. All right. So, guys, make sure that your affairs are in order, because we do know that a great deal of the territory utilizes these SNAP benefits, and we would hate to see September 1, people just saying, hey, I didn't know. Well, listen, tell someone to tell somebody, because not everybody's on the timeline. Not everybody is on the news sorts, and not everybody listens to radio. So this is where community really takes care of self. Ask each other the important questions as necessary, and just make sure you tapping somebody on the shoulder and saying, hey, make sure you if you on these services that you are checking your stuff. Make sure that if you are working somewhere, you are logging your hours. You make sure you have the right documentation. And when all else fails, reach out to the department and ask a question. Now, what I will say, though, I would suggest you go in and you don't call. Okay? Go in. Just go in and ask the question because, well, we're going to say why, but I think you know why. So go in, ask the question. Make sure. If you're unsure, make sure. Just like if you're unsure if you're registered to vote, go online and go check it on out. As more and more systems digitalize across the territory, it's safe to say we're moving towards the territory where, it'll be a little bit easier to traverse everyday life. We hope, right? That being said, guys, it is 43 minutes past the hour of 9 o'clock. We have officially neared the end of our show. This first show of the week, Monday, August 10th. And I want to say again to all the faculty, staff, teachers, administrators, everybody who's working hard to educate our future generations. Thank you. Thank you so much for your hard work, your service, and your dedication. And to our students, wishing you the absolute best school year this year. Make sure you go in with your eyes bright and wide, positivity, and, you're ready to take in all the information so that you could take over and maybe do it even better than we did, right? Hey. Oh, yes, definitely. And I got to say a huge thank you to our sponsors yet again, My Lord Variety Store and Smoke Shop, for making sure that they can bring you this nice, hot goodness each and every weekday. Give them a call, 340-690-5043. That's the number to call. Play Caribbean Lottery, Scratch-Offs, Powerball, Pick 3, Pick 4s, Payday, and so much more right there at the My Lord Variety Store and Smoke Shop. Or you can always grab you a water, get you some snacks, some goodies. It's a one-stop shop. Ladies, you can get your smell goods, your body butters, all that good stuff. They got natural toothpaste and everything. And then for my gentlemen, yes, to the man down there, I'm talking to you. They got the highest or the greatest variety of rolling papers this side of the Caribbean, this side of the equator. I'm telling you, that ain't no fake thing. That's a real thing, okay? Make sure you go and check them out for all of your essential needs. That's My Lord Variety Store and Smoke Shop right here in the Barron Spot Shopping Center. Also got to say a huge thank you and shout out to the Flaming Grill for always supporting Bush Tea in the morning. All right, their specials for today, as you guys already know, we mentioned and we run them through earlier, but it got shrimp and butter sauce and crispy chicken sandwich with french fries today. Not one, but two. Why? Because it's back to school, baby. That's right. Just head on over to the Flaming Grill. Beat the rush and call them early so you can order on time. It's 340-778-6270. That's the number to call. And I also got to say a huge shout out to Liberty VI, making sure to keep your community fiber connected. It's the fiber fever, and that's still going on, and only for a limited time, so make sure you get in on that quickly. All right, also be sure to go and register to vote. I've said it a few times today, and I'll continue to say it every single day. www.vivote.gov. That's vivote.gov. Go check it out. Make sure you know your status. Make sure that you're in the know, so that when you're listening to these, as campaign season starts to pick back up yet again, we just went over the primaries, we went over the results, Congratulations to all the winners, all that good stuff. And now we headed into the big race. All the houses them out, okay? So come on. Make sure you're doing your part. Don't wait until the last minute, then you're pulling me to the side, ask me all kind of questions. Go and register. If you have some information or documentation that you need to submit, if you know it's been a number of years since you have either voted or registered, be sure to call in or go online. You can check your status. You don't even need nobody to help you. It's very, very simple, straight to the point. You just have to make sure that you enter your information exactly as you did when you registered. So if you remember when you registered, if you don't know, you probably give them a call so they can help you out with that. But be sure to check them out and register. Make sure you know your status so that we can get these numbers. They continue to climb. A lot of people stated that, their first time voting was during these primary elections. So listen, make sure that you are present for the main event. The walk ain't done yet, okay? No, we don't want no false celebrations. Come. We got work to do still. Bring that walk with that. We need that. Now, that being said, guys, thank you guys for always tuning in to Bush Tea in the Morning and allowing me to help you to start your day off the right way. Tomorrow, we are doing our giveaways. So tell a friend to tell a friend right here on 101.3. You have an opportunity, or one of these children that head into school have an opportunity to win a 6-inch personal pan pizza courtesy of Alfio's Pizza. And that's right, we're doing one every single day this week, so make sure that you tune in, all right, for your chance to win. Check the page on social media at 101.3 Roe FM WEVI, or give us a call if you want us to sponsor, or if you want to advertise, get an interview done, anything of the sorts. 340-204-8512. That's the number to call. And I gotta say, huge shout out to the entire 101.3 Roe FM team. Y'all already know it is that. Until next time, treat each other well. Keep your hands at 9 and 3. 9 and 3. Man, make me change up my whole dialogue, my son. I can't even say 10 and 2 no more. They say that ain't safe no more. It's 9 and 3. You see how things have changed? So that's why you gotta keep hope alive, because anything can change. Anything can change, including these here Virgin Islands. Keep it locked. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. Angela Yee is going to be on at the 10 o'clock hour. We're going to pay some bills real quick. And I'm going to see you guys mañana. So, as always, much love. Treat each other well. I'm going to say it again. All right? All right. Until next time. I'll see you later.
Mornings off of McDonald's, starting right, feeling great, with a toasty egg McMuffin and a fresh McCafe. Mornings off of McDonald's with 3 big fluffy hot cakes, or a tasty McGriddle with bacon.